My name is Damian, and I'm a politician. Politician, that sounds kind of shady, slightly corrupt, and maybe a bit dodgy. And that's why I personally never wanted to become a politician. I thought about more social work or more like a foundation work, becoming a journalist, or maybe if I wanted to get rich, I would become a banker or consultant, which, by the way, I actually did. I did become a consultant. Bang, bang. So what changed? I mean, in 2016, I was in the US, I was in New York, and I went to Hillary Clinton's campaign party. So the night when she was supposed to get elected, I sneaked into her campaign center with two friends, a friend from Italy and a friend from France. And the idea was very simple. Go there, celebrate the first female president of the United States. And in the beginning, it was really cool. There was like Katy Perry on stage singing, who's, by the way, dating Justin Trudeau right now. And there was the Bishop of New York blessing the first female president and so on. But then over time, the results trickled in, state by state, as you know, in the US. And it was clear that the path to presidency was declining. It was not possible anymore. And people started sitting down and crying. And I don't know if you ever experienced this, but when you have 30,000 people sitting around you on the floor crying, that is a bit of a shock. And so, you know, in addition to the Brexit referendum that had happened that year, we started thinking and we started talking, and our solution was to build a pan-European party. And that was a lot of fun, and I have been doing it ever since. But it is not the message of today. Today, it's more about you. So, who here wants to become a politician? Oh, we have one, maybe 1.5. Okay, who is already in a political party? Yeah, it's also a couple. And to be honest, this is pretty representative. Like, people don't necessarily feel very drawn towards political parties. As I said, it doesn't really sound very sexy. Actually, if you look at the numbers, since the 1980s, party membership in Europe has halved. So we have a situation where less and less people go into parties. The average age of a party member in a conservative party in Germany is 65. So we only have to wait maybe 10 years and they will all be dead. Amazing, you know? I do see this as a problem. Why? Because the world is not in such a good shape. And you know this. I don't need to give you all these examples, but I mean, there's a war in Europe, as you know. We have rising rents in the cities. We have regions which are economically devastated, which are flooded or burning at the moment. We have a situation where a few very rich people agglomerate most of the wealth in their hands. And we have a situation where normal real wage is not rising and doesn't allow you to build property over time. These are already political problems, but I think there are three fundamental issues that come on top. Polarization, which basically pulls families and societies apart. We have nationalism, which at the moment is destroying this project, the European project that we have built after having been shooting at each other for quite some time. And we have populism, which basically destroys the very notion of truth. So change is coming. Actually, change has always been coming. If you look back in history, 35 years ago, you had the Berlin Wall that fell. If you go a bit further back, as I said, people were shooting at each other. So the idea that anything is constant is wrong. The only thing that's constant is change. And the change that is currently coming is coming from those people that believe we can go back in time. They have a vision about a future which is more like a fake past. It is about national borders, being against the other, having an identity that maybe is white Christian, but definitely not open. So I personally believe that we really do not have a choice to be political. It is not possible for us to just watch and see what's happening. So we will all be political. We will all be politicians because we are all affected by it. And that means that we have to understand the fundamental truth about democracy. And to understand this, I will try to give you an image that you may understand a bit better. Like, who lives in a flat share or who has lived in a flat share in the past? Okay. So if you live in a flat share, you might meet on a Tuesday night to discuss who cleans out the sink, who gets, to take the hair out of the shower, or who brings down the trash. And that is a governance system. As soon as you live in a house with multiple flat shares, you might meet once a month on a Tuesday to discuss what to do with the courtyard, but you might be too many. So you will elect one person, a representative from your flat, to go there to discuss this. Of course, if you broaden this concept to a small city or village, it gets more and more difficult to all meet together. And so we have parties that basically stand for the future, stand for the decisions we want to have taken. So this is the idea of basically representative democracy. If you scale this to Germany, you have 85 million people. So, of course, it gets more and more difficult to sit together in one room. For Europe, it's 450 million people. This is the basic idea of democracy, that we have power ourselves. So my main message to you is to think about what you can do. What is your power? And you shouldn't be waiting for a messiah, for a savior to somehow fix the things and bring it in the right direction. We have to get out of the observer role. The observer role is very simple. I sit with my phone in my hand, I watch Instagram, I watch, for example, the best goal summary, like some soccer game or whatever, or I watch politics. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's winning. I don't like him. But anyways, whatever. You feel no agency when you're observing. So the opposite of observing is engaging and understanding that you have real power, and not abstract by writing position papers or even by going to the streets and demonstrating. I don't think that's enough. When parliaments are falling apart, you need to be part of the power game. The power game happens in parliaments. So my main message to you is, try to understand that you don't, in a democracy, only have the power to vote, but that you have the power to join a political party and make a change. Because change is coming anyways, and democracy needs all of us to get active. So if you walk out of this here today, please consider joining a political party. It can be a social democratic, conservative, liberal, whatever party it is. But I don't think we have the luxury to just stand by. So join a political party now. Thank you.